Hi, everybody. All right. So today we're going to talk about scaling human and automated technologies for the global research community, or as I like to say, recent new features in CDD Vault. So we think there are a couple, and I just have 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop at two feature sets that have been deployed recently that, quite frankly, I love, and so I love talking about them. So I hope I can stop after 10 minutes. Sample management inventory and the new file parser for getting your data into the vault. So for sample management, we have always had parent compounds, parent entities, top level registration things that you have put in. For that, you have also been able to register multiple batches of those for a second level. And what we have deployed recently is the ability to have a third level of samples or lots or what have you. And note, you may call them anything that you want in your vault. All of that is terminology is customizable. If you don't know how, just ask us. So I will stop now because I don't like PowerPoint any more than you do, and this is live. I had to make the PowerPoints because sometimes internet goes away. For sample management, what you will see in your vault now is a new samples tab for your batches. So this is the main click through on a molecule ID, see the molecule overview information, the batches that you've created, and now you may have multiple samples that you have created for your batches. You can also indicate these samples in your assay test results when you're importing your protocol assay test result data into Vault. So we have that granularity available. In my silly example, I have 7 samples that I've created for this. You see them here. I'm just going to expand the first 2. And then within each sample, you can see multiple events over time that I have or someone has done something with this sample. Perhaps you took an X amount of that sample and send it off to a CRO or put it in a vial or what have you. So this is completely up to you. The samples will have sample level fields that your Vault administrator can give to you for tracking and annotating your samples. You may also have these event level fields that also your Vault administrator can set up for you as well. So things like how much did you take, the location, was it a form, or what form did you have in, did you put it in a vial or a plate or just what have you. All of this is completely up to you and your Vault administrator to give to you for registering your samples and your events of each sample. Very much like your batch fields and your molecule fields. So you are now able to annotate the information about all of these levels in your Vault. So yes, you may create a new sample. Ta-da! We are also plugged into the import data wizard that you all know and love. So you may import a whole bunch of samples. If you're like me, you would do this on Friday with a 6-pack of beer for every other person in your whole organization because you were the low person on the totem pole and that was your job. So yes, you may import these samples in bulk and even these events there. As for the events and samples, we also have some key buttons to deplete that sample. It is no longer available. You have used it all. You can't do anything else with it, really. You can edit the sample, existing sample information, or create a new event, which would add a new row here. So what does this look like when you're setting this up? I can go to the Settings, Vault, Sample Inventory fields if I am a Vault administrator. So this is kind of the admin panel where you're setting up your molecule fields already. You're setting up your batch fields, your protocol fields, your run fields. We just snuck in a sample inventory field level there for you. So there you go. Basically sample level, event level, data types, pick list, numbers, text, whatever you want. Must be unique. So you can say, yes, I want you to do a unique check over this piece of data that my users are going to annotate. If you want it to be considered a special sample identifier, which means you can associate data to it using this ID, basically, that you have. There's a checkbox for that. You can also designate whether your samples are single use. So there's a big use case scenario where you really don't need to have all those events for a sample. You just have a sample and you've used it once. And then whether or not the field is required or optional. There's that word. Yay. So that is pretty much in a nutshell. I'm not going to go through it because I don't have a whole lot of time here today, but example import file might have many rows of samples that you import at once with all of the columns that match the fields that your Vault administrator has given to you. I do want to say one kind of special thing here for the location. If you'll notice, you'll say, now Charlie, you know as well as I do that you've got 4 location columns here and you've only got 1 location field in your Vault. That don't work. Well, due to the brilliance of our dev team, that do work. So that is absolutely supported. You may have multiple locations and it's special, so don't go try doing this with every field for the location. And the way that looks is, for example, when you're setting up your hierarchy of all the locations that you may have in your Vault for your samples, you do that here. The Vault administrator does that here. As you can tell, we've got superhero places for Aquaman and Superman and buildings and boxes and so forth and so on. The great thing about this, which is very unique in the world out there, I've heard, is this ability to duplicate either a single level or the whole level. So if I have 5 buildings, but each building has 3 freezers and 2 vent hoods, I can do that in just a click, and I can take the whole building and duplicate that entire hierarchy at that level just with that one click. So you really can create your location hierarchies pretty quickly here. You may also create a new location, create a new box at any level in your location hierarchy. There's the duplicate and I guess delete. If you don't have samples already living in a place, you can say, oh, I'm not going to use that place ever again. That's bad. So that is it for sample inventory management that I wanted to talk about. So hard for me not to ask for questions. Okay, I'll go on. So we're going to zip, 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 zip. All right, the import data wizard. So in the past, of course, we've had import data for as long as I've been here. What we've done now is include a flexible parser. So your files no longer have to be tall and skinny because, the best things aren't always tall or skinny. So you may have different plate formats that you may import now into your CDD Vault, basically resembling a plate layout. So if I have a data file coming off an instrument or that my lovely, wonderful CROs or partners have given to me, maybe it has different tabs. It's an Excel file. They've had a plate here with my cell lines, which cell lines are in each well, which of my molecules or batches or samples are there, what are the concentrations if this was a dose response study, and then raw data measurements. So all of these are in different tabs or in the same tab and plate blocks and what have you. You may absolutely now go through the import with that, choose the file, put it in a project, and now you have a preview file option and upload. So that's going to bring that XLSX file that I just showed you up here. You can now see a representation of that. There are all my sheets, a little bit of instructions over here. So if I just want to go to cell lines and I choose this and I scroll, maybe I click there, I'm going to get a plate block. So it knows that. It's automatically calling it cell lines because it can read, and so it knows what I named my sheet. I can change it. It's up to me. But if I just want to leave it, I'll leave it. I can go and do the same. Isn't this fun? Everyone should be oohing and eyeing now. Come on. You know it's going to work or I wouldn't be showing it, right? And then, so I've got all my plate blocks assigned that I want. Way back here in the overview tab, it's like one little piece of information that really applies to this whole file. my plate name. So it's a fixed value called whatever you want to call it, but it read plate. So it was pretty smart. What we're also doing at the same time is showing you this preview. Now you're going to see, ta-da, we've done the work for you. Put that into this format that once you click through, you can now map each of these columns into your vault, into your protocols, into your batch fields, and import this data without having to do any pre-processing of that file. So yeah, I think I will stop there. This was, again, just in case the internet didn't work. I want to thank you all for being customers, for being here, for celebrating 20 years. I've been here 11. It's been just the craziest ride. Kellen, you brought me in. Never been happier. Barry, I don't know where Barry went, ran away. Oh, there you are, right in front of me. Thank you. But what we've built here is the support team that I could not be prouder of. I have always worked in a support team for 30-something years, and this is the best. You guys have the best at your disposal every day. From Roland in Hawaii to Amelia in Finland, we've got the time zones covered. So if you wake up in the middle of the night with a burning CDD Vault question, send it in, because somebody's probably awake to answer you. So Janice is here as well from San Diego. Eric is here from the Utah, and all of us are somewhere in the middle. Thank you all very much.